iOS developers are different from Android developers, different from web developers. And obviously, there can be these people who are like having multiple talents and someone who might be working in a startup who will take care of both iOS and Android and stuff like that. There are also frameworks which kind of fit in both. But I'll make the question more relevant to you. Obviously, your question is not just about whether they have different teams or not. What does a designer have to do with it is the question you have, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I should say 6 to 7 years back, the situation was in such a way that you had to make multiple versions of your design for iOS and Android. This was a
Mm.
regular practice. Okay. In more recent times, people are adopting to multi-platform patterns because that is more scalable, right? And they're just delivering one kind of design which basically adapts to multiple types of platforms. So designing for adaptability is, frankly speaking, an advanced concept. But if you really want to explore, it's like a big field in altogether. So I'll tell you what happens. Now, let's say take iOS and Android, okay, as popular platforms for now. iOS has certain native elements. For example, the most prominent one you will see being used is, let us say, if there is a decision which has to be made, you generally see a pop-up. In other words, called as a model alert. Like multiple types of these things exist, right? iOS uses certain native components. Let's say this alert box or drop down. Okay. So what happens is many times for the ease of development, what you would do is you would go and pick an element which is native to the OS rather than custom developing the element. And when your developers are taking such a choice to use native elements across OSs, what you'll do in your design is to make two separate versions of it when it comes to that particular screen. It was an industry practice a lot previously. Now I wouldn't say it is that much, right? But the idea was, hey, when the drop down comes, here the idea is to pick up the Android's native drop down, and here you pick the iOS's native drop down. If your company is making the choice, you can give that, right? But the point is, this is not so much discussed widely because whether it's iOS drop down or whether it's Android drop down, both are established patterns. As UX designer, you have decided that you have to put a drop down over here. That's the interaction which you need to have. And you're using an existing component which is available in either of the design systems. So discussion is closed because you're not designing the visuals of this drop down anyway. You're not supposed to also. If you're using a native
Mm.
component, you can't go and tweak it the way you want. You have to do it the way the component behaves. This generally happens only at a dev handoff stage where product is actually going and being developed. Until then, you wouldn't even make these two versions, frankly speaking. With that, I'll have to tell you one thing. As UX designers, you're not always working on dev handoff products. That's like a project has gone through multiple stages, gotten approvals, you've made a lot of cuts, you've seen what is possible by developers, and all this stuff happened. And then you guys decided to develop it. That is when dev handoff comes. Let us say you're getting a project brief right now. This is like very initial phases. This is like you and product manager and the company discussing about doing the project. Whatever you have submitted, let us say today, is just the first proposal of your project. For months together, you guys will keep revising that, revising that, revising that, revising that. What you'll do from now onwards is you will revise this proposal for practicality. You'll go talk to the developers, understand what is practical, what is not practical. You'll go talk to the operations team. So you've built the itineraries feature. Now you have built all the features, but tech has to be able to develop it. Backend logic has to be written and all. On top of it, the providers, like the people who are on the ground, who are providing these things, they have to work together. There is a complete
Mm.
operational team which has to work like this. There's a support team which has to work like this. There's a marketing team which has to promote this. All the teams have to align, right? Now, if your project doesn't align with all these people's goals and the workforce you have and all that stuff, your project will not see the light of the day. Who will
Yeah.
do all this? Your remaining people in the company are doing this. Your product manager, everyone is trying to push for this. Product managers, category managers, marketing people, developers, everyone is trying to do this. So this will take months of time, frankly speaking. So during these months, what you build the first in general is actually called as a North Star. The first proposal, we call it as a North Star. Okay, all of you can note this down. And generally, all of you are involved in building this North Star because that is what is expected out of freshers a lot. Without constraints, can you bring in fresh ideas? Experienced people are great in bringing in constraints. But with constraints, a lot of times what happens is innovation doesn't come, right? I mean, innovation happens, but a lot of fresh, radical ideas don't come. In general, you're hired for that fresh perspectives. That means thinking less about the actual constraints and thinking more about what is it that which can possibly be built for an ideal experience of a user, right? So in fact, whatever you're bringing is just that only, right enough, right? And it happens only on working. There is no way to learn this by the book or by reading something. You can't learn this because the main reason you can't learn this is because constraints are not the same everywhere. You have developers constraints, your marketing constraints. Every company thinks work differently. So this cannot be learned like a course. It can only be learned by working there. And it is given that freshers don't have this. But on the other hand, you can do the North Star thinking, right? So I gave you this particular perspective because generally going towards making something for iOS and making something for Android and making very OS specific, developer specific changes goes towards the later stages of design rather than on the initial experience part. So mostly what we do is, at least when you are designing for India, you can always assume that you're designing for Android because that is where majority of your users are. Design for Android, and given a chance, you can always customize it to iOS. What you need to do is familiarize yourself with all these guidelines, human interface guidelines, okay, HIG. These are the Apple's guidelines for its interfaces, right? And for Google, it is material design. These are generally guidelines which help you build multiple design systems altogether, frankly speaking. But human interface guidelines and material design will help you understand more in terms of how designing for those particular interfaces. Material design will help you understand how to design for Android, and human interface guidelines make you understand how to design for iOS. Now, you can always read about it, you can always understand what kind of components and all that stuff, and you'll never be done with it, frankly speaking, but just have an idea. If you have an iPhone, if you start using things, you'll observe few things. If you have an Android phone, do those comparisons. Hey, I have a drop down over here in an Android phone. I have a drop down over here in the iOS phone. What's happening? How is it different? That's enough, right? Just your ability to differentiate and see that things are different and relating it to these guidelines over here is enough for now. Instead of making handoff ready design, which is too much. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.